It's semi-final time for the women, and Erin Brooks, she's taken off, locks in, still riding through this one, and she's going to get spat out of the barrel, the 16-year-old.
Erin Brooks, congratulations. You're going to be on the championship tour. Congrats.
Thank you. I'm super excited.
All right. So I want to know, and you can tell the people about a surfer born in Boerne, Texas, living on the North Shore of Oahu, and is going to be the first Canadian on the championship tour. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, hi, my name is Erin Brooks. I'm 17 years old. I was born in Boerne, Texas, and didn't start surfing until I was 9 years old. When I was 9 years old, my family and I moved to Hawaii, and that's where it all began. And my dad and I are both dual Canadian and American citizens, for anyone who is wondering.
Yeah, your dad Jeff told me that you've always had this really strong resolute with you. Like once you got into surfing, you were very passionate about it and you put everything into it. And that's coming a long way from learning to surf at 9 years old. You're 17 now. So in 8 years, you've made it to the pinnacle of professional surfing. That's the championship tour.
Yeah,
What's your drive? What's your drive? What keeps what keeps Erin Brooks motivated?
It isn't really hard because I love surfing so much, so it's amazing that I get to do something that I love for my job, and I don't even think of it as that, and I'm just so grateful to be a part of it and to have such amazing support from my family, friends, and sponsors who have helped me get all this way so quickly.
Yeah. You did it quick on the Challenger Series, just 2 full years on the Challenger Series, finishing number 4 on those series, qualifying for the championship tour. But think about this, Erin. This is an interesting thing that I want to ask you about. Is there's 12 stops on the championship tour, right?
hmm
Including the final. You've won events at 3 of those stops on next year's schedule. You've won in Rio at Saquarema, you've won at Snapper, and you've won at Fiji. Does that give you confidence? I mean, how do you feel? Do you feel momentum coming into this year's tour?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, winning at those spots definitely gives me a lot of confidence. And I've been lucky enough to compete on the CT level and also on the Challenger Series with so many amazing girls. And I feel like we're all just going to push it super hard this year. And this year, the tour looks so amazing. And I'm just so grateful to be a part of it and getting to surf all these amazing waves with just a couple other people out.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Here's my first thing that we're gonna do right here.
What? Oh, wait, does this do anything?
No, but you. Oh yes. Okay, watch this. I got another one though.
Wow.
That's all I got. I'm gonna learn some more of those things. Okay, let's talk about the tour and starting off pretty much in your neighborhood at Pipeline. First stop of the championship tour. How do you feel about that?
I'm super excited to start off the year at Pipeline. I've been putting in a lot of time out there, especially this winter, knowing that that's the first event. I really want to capitalize on that and do well. And I feel very comfortable in bigger waves and in the barrel, so I'm very excited to compete.
Yeah, what kind of boards are you working out with your sponsor Matt Biolis over that Mayhem for Pipe?
For my boards, I've been using a 6.0 to a 6.4 on the bigger days, but when it's a little smaller, I've been going from like 5.6 all the way to 5.10. I'm a pretty short person, but I definitely need that extra paddle strength, especially battling against everyone in the free surfs. It's nice to have that little bit of like early drop in, so then people know you're for sure going.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look at Mason Ho's always been one to use bigger boards out there, and it's worked out well
hmm
for him. Pipeline, the crew there, it's a heavy pack. Looks like you're working out with some of those pack, though. I just saw you training with Kahea Hart. At the same time in the gym, you have guys like Makuakai Rothman, Billy Kemper, Mikey Red's there, Ayala, who's caught one of the best barrels so far this season. Cheeseburger is even part of. I call cheese. I actually call cheeseburger veggie burger now because he's lost so much weight and he's
I
looking in such a
know.
good shape. But what's it like? I mean, talk about that cross training that you're doing with Kahea.
Yeah, with Kahea, my training, we do a lot of strength training to get ready for the winter. We need to keep those legs strong, and he does a lot of foundation training as well as helping us learn how to hold our breath very well. And I also do another training with his name is Raphael, but his thing is arcade training, and
Yeah.
he does like more agility and stuff on the trampoline. So even though I'm more focused at pipe right now, he helps me stay comfortable with my air awareness. So when we go to like Abu Dhabi or Portugal, I can still feel comfortable in the air.
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy how the schedule this year. We're starting at pipe, and then stop number two, you're shifting gears in a big way. It's going to be all about performance over at Surf Abu Dhabi. You've got
Hmm.
to visit the place. What do you think about that facility?
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to go to Surf Abu Dhabi twice, and I think it is probably the best wave pool that I've ever surfed. It's way more forgiving than the Lemoore one, and it's just going to be so exciting to watch everyone there and all of the fans. I mean, being there two times, you can just see how much more it's bringing into there. Like people who may not know about surfing, now they're really getting into it and getting excited to watch the world's best at their pool.
But okay, so as far as performance surfing, you're kind of at the forefront of that, um, and that development happened really quickly for you. But you must have had inspiration from other surfers coming through that.
Mhm.
Who are some of your favorite surfers and the surfers that have inspired you on this journey?
Some of my favorite surfers are Gabriel Medina, Italo Ferreira, John Florence, Chris Moore, Steph Gilmore. I mean, all of those surfers are definitely the greatest in my opinion. And I just love watching them so much. And I love trying to put what they're doing into my surfing, but also keeping my little touch on it. And all of those guys have been so kind to me and really supportive. So I'm excited to join them on the tour.
I think everyone's excited to have you on tour, to tell you the truth. And so, so it's going to be a great year. It's going to be a jam packed year. 11 events, 12 with the finals. I mean,
Mhm.
there's very short windows between all the events. Who are you traveling with this year? Do you have a coach, a trainer? What's your program on the road?
For here in Hawaii, I'm coaching with Shane Dorian, but for the rest of the year, I'll be coaching with Jake Patterson, and I'm super excited about it. He's been so nice and very responsive already. We haven't really got to train together yet, but on text, he's been super responsive, and hopefully get to travel with one of my really good friends, Isabella Nichols, as well as Sawyer Lindblad. She trains with Jake as well, and hopefully make some new friends on the tour. I mean, everyone is so nice. When I was in Fiji, everyone was so nice and welcoming, so hopefully it'll be the same, but also
Yeah.
competitive.
Also competitive at the same time. And Jake's such a
Yeah.
good coach. I mean, he's got so much knowledge. See if I want to see if my snake fangs do anything. Okay, no, but that's my snake symbol right there.
This one does something.
Does this do
Here.
something? Oh, that's, I'm learning all this stuff during these interviews. So getting on tour, 7 events before the mid-season cut, two more events in the history of surfing. You're feeling on, having 7 events before having to face the reality of that mid-season cut.
Yeah, I mean, the cut is definitely tough for everyone, but hopefully I can perform well in the first few events. Well, all of them, but just so I'm not worried about that and so I can surf the whole year because all the stops look so amazing. And my end goal is to make it all the way to the finals.
Okay, speaking of that, like there's I think I can kind of energy, and then there's like I know I can kind of energy. If you make it to the final five, you're returning to Cloud Break and you've won already there. So for me,
Mhm.
that's I know I can kind of energy. Your thoughts on where the finals are happening and a potential world title?
Yeah, I mean, it's so amazing that the finals are at Cloud Break this next year, and it'll be so cool if I would be able to make it there. And there's so many amazing surfers, like Katie Simmers will try and, well, we don't know who will be there, but I'd love it if it was like Katie, Molly, Caroline, um, Tati. We had the final together, and it'd just be so amazing to compete against all of those girls there again. Actually, I did compete against all of those girls during
You
the
did.
contest. Yeah, so that definitely gave me a lot of confidence, but there's a whole year ahead, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. You mentioned Caroline as well as Katie. It seems like there's a new generation right now. There's a new movement in women's professional surfing with all of you youngsters. Do you feel that? Do you feel there's a changing of the guard right now?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, some of the older girls are kind of, I don't want to say anything bad about them because they've done so much for us, being such inspirations, but they're kind of aging out a little bit. And there's so many girls from the younger generation, like me and Bella and Sierra Kerr coming up, that will definitely come on the scene. And also Caroline and Katie, those girls are not very old and they're both world champions and Caroline's an Olympic gold medalist, so I definitely see the new generation stepping up in a very big way.
I know. I think it's one of the most exciting eras that I've witnessed in professional surfing as a whole. I'm not even going to say men's or women. I'm just going to say professional surfing just because there's this movement and you can see progression, whether it's airs or whether it's charging big waves. I mean, we just had, the Eddie Aikau opening ceremony. There's going to be women in the Eddie Aikau. What
Mhm.
you did over at Fiji, what the stuff that Sakura and 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 Katie
Molly and Molly.
and Molly did
Yeah.
over at Pipeline. It's so exciting. It's a great era to be in. And you're just at the beginning of the journey there. But what do you feel about that journey? Are you excited? Do you feel momentum right now? How do you feel about the 2025 tour coming up?
For the 25 tour, I'm definitely very excited to compete against some of the surfers that I've looked up to ever since I started and competing at all of these amazing waves. And I definitely have momentum with having probably the best competitive season I've ever had, winning a CT, Challenger Series, and making it onto the championship tour. I mean, that's a pretty good year, so I definitely have a lot of confidence going into this next season, and I'm super excited.
Yeah, it was rad. I mean, I was there when you qualified. It was a rad moment, and your dad
Mhm.
made a promise to you. Hey, if you qualify for the championship tour, your dad Jeff, who we know with the long hair and the long beard, that would have made Duck Dynasty proud, um, had to take it. You shaved his beard and his hair because that was his bet with you, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I actually got to do it myself, and he didn't cut his hair for like 6 years, and he had the beard for 2 years going strong, and my mom and I were definitely tired of it. I mean, he was kind of lost in all that hair. And he used to have a clean cut when he worked, but once we moved, he just let it all grow out. The island vibes.
The island vibes, yeah, yeah, I love it. And he said you enjoyed it immensely, uh, shaving his head.
I
So
did.
that's a great motivating and a great, and a great. I just noticed your dad just so supportive of you. But another thing, you're part of what I'm noticing in a young generation of some new surfers coming up and onto the professional scene who have been pretty open about their faith in post-heat interviews, thanking God, and it's refreshing to me. I mean, I think it's a great example, but I just want you to talk to us about your faith and how that affects your life and your surfing.
Yeah, well, I'm a proud Christian, and anytime I can, I'm gonna give all of my wins and everything to the Lord because I wouldn't be where I am without Him, and He's given me so much. So the least I can do is just thank Him after a heat and spread His love with the world.
Yeah. Well, great words, and I don't want to get on a sermon myself, but you get God in your life, and it makes life better. I'm gonna say that
Definitely.
for sure. All right, looking for the championship tour. Everybody gets to pick a number. You pick the number 17 for your jersey.
Mhm.
Why?
I picked the number 17 because I qualified when I was 17 years old, and this year was also my golden birthday. I was born on July 17th, and I feel like it was definitely my golden year with qualifying, winning my first CT as a wild card, and getting my first WSL 10 at snapper and going on to win the contest.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was a rad one. Like that 10 at snapper. We've used it on so many highlights for the World Surf League, but that was such a well surfed wave, and it had everyone on the beach just jumping up and down. What was the feeling of that wave? And you caught that wave under priority too.
Yeah, that heat was really fun. I was competing against probably my best friend, Isabella Nichols, and we were watching the heat before, and everyone was just getting barreled, and we were so excited to get out there. But then the heat kind of went flat for like the first couple minutes, and both of us were like, oh no, we just want to put on a show, and it's not from biting. But then I saw this one wave come in, and I kind of started to move, and then Isabella didn't, and I was like, oh, what? And it was definitely the best wave I had ever seen at Snapper or had been in position for. And I was like, no matter what, no matter how deep I was, I definitely had to go. And right when I took off, it like bottomed out and I grabbed my rail. And once I got in there, I thought I was a little too deep. And then the spit kind of just pushed me over the foam ball, and when I came out, I like even surprised myself, and I heard everyone cheering on the beach, and I kind of just looked back at the beach because I was just so surprised. And then I had to finish the wave. I'm in the contest and I'm competing.
That was
And
that was rad. Yeah, because you
yeah.
celebrated for a little bit, and then I think you realized you're like, wait a minute, I'm
Yeah,
still riding, and then
definitely.
you did two backhand hooks. I think after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I like took a second to be like, "Oh my gosh, I made that." And then I was like, "Oh yeah, I gotta finish."
Oh
And then I
man,
claimed again, which I never really claim, or I just try not to, but I was just super excited.
no, yeah, you get a 10, you get to claim.
Yeah.
I tried to do that again and it didn't work. Okay. Um. Uh. There you go. That's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for. That's the yeah. That's the fireworks after the 10. You got a good relationship with your shaper Matt Biolis, making your
Mhm.
boards. Have you been working with him on anything? It's a big range of boards that you're going to need on tour this year. Have you been working on your quiver already for the championship tour?
Yeah, Matt's such an amazing shaper, and he took the time to come over to my house and look through all the boards that I had for this winter and also Abu Dhabi coming up. And I've grown a little bit and gained some more muscle. So we needed to add some more so I couldn't, or so I wouldn't just like slide out. I need to be able to keep up with the girls. And I have boards ranging from like 5'2" all the way to 6'4", which is crazy, and they're all for different waves. As you know, we serve barreling waves to like Portugal beach breaks, point breaks, reef breaks, and yeah, he's definitely so amazing. Have a lot of trust in him and his boards, and he's the best shaper.
Yeah, yeah. And the boards look like they're fast with the flames on it. The artwork is Matt's daughter, is Ryder doing
Yeah,
the color on
Ryder.
your board?
Yep,
And how the flames come up? Like
um,
why flames?
before I had lightning bolts on my board, and I just wanted something that looked fast, but my parents wanted something bright so they can pick me out in the lineup. And I saw in the North Shore Surf Shop, I don't know if you know Luis Real, he
Yeah,
has
yeah.
an amazing collection of old vintage surfboards, and I went in there looking at all their paint jobs and I saw this one board in particular that had the flames. I was like, okay, on my next ones, I'm definitely gonna do that because that looks crazy and
Yeah,
fast.
yeah, it looks good. And Ryder does such a beautiful job with all the artwork.
Yeah, she does. She does a lot of the surfers. paint jobs. Everyone who rides for Lost on the tour, she does like mine, Caroline, Bailu, Griffin, Mason. I know he's
Yeah.
on a tour, but he has some pretty crazy designs as well. But I definitely love having the flames. I feel like it fits me very well.
Yeah. You think colored boards go better? Boards that have some type of artwork on them go better than just a plain whiteboard?
I feel like it'll be more exciting to watch someone when they have colors on their board. I don't know.
Yeah.
That could just be me because that's what I'm always watching with myself. And I've never really had a whiteboard ever, so I wouldn't know the difference.
Oh, rad. That's cool that you've never had. And speaking of everything, what are you most excited about for your rookie year on the championship tour?
Mhm. I'm most excited to just be there with all of the surfers that I've looked up to forever and getting to compete at such amazing waves with only a couple other girls out and getting to be at that level because I've worked so hard to get there and now I finally achieved it and giving it all I got.
Another question. It's North Shore season. It's like butterfly time right now. You know what I mean? It's like every day, every other day, it seems over here on Oahu, the waves are big, right? And everyone's pushing themselves. Tell me about your the worst wipeout you've had and yeah, just what happened.
Um, I would say the worst wipeout I've ever had was at Sunset Beach. Thank goodness we don't have a tour stop there this year because I've been like nervous to surf there ever since. But I had like pretty much a two-wave hold down there last year. I was trying to surf with all the CT people, and it was a really big day. And I had just got a wave and fell in the worst spot ever. And I was fell in that wave, tried to come up, but then the wave just like kept pushing me back down. So I just had to stay calm and trying to cover my head because I had absolutely no idea where I was, where my board was. And I felt like I was down there forever. I mean, it feels so long once you're down there. But when I came up, I was like gasping for air. Like, thank goodness I came up because it was terrible.
Wow, yeah, sunset's scary. Um, you ever get nervous? Do you get nervous in heats?
I don't really get too nervous in my heat because I feel like once the hooter goes off, I'm all right. But before that, I definitely get nervous. I mean, I'll be like jumping in my seat, probably just because I'm so excited, but then I might overthink it, and that's when I get nervous. But I can't let that happen because I put in so much hard work and so much time in the water that when the heat is on, that's when I go out and show everyone what I've been working on, and that's when I have fun.
Awesome. Hey, so I'm going to do something. I'm going to go through the first seven events, and I want to just get your first reaction when I say the stop of what you think, what you think. The first thing that kind of comes to your mind, okay? You ready? You ready?
Oh, cool.
Here we go. First seven
Yeah.
stops. Stop number one, Bonsai Pipeline.
Exciting and scary.
Surf Abu Dhabi.
New and fun.
Super Tubos, Peniche, Portugal.
Mm, cold.
I was going to say
And
cold.
yeah, cold. It looked so cold last year. I mean, everyone was wearing booties in the free surf, so got to bring my
Yeah,
rubber
okay.
there.
Yeah. You got good wetsuits. Punta Roca, El Salvador.
This is funny, but hot.
It's true.
And
The
high
water's hotter than the
performance.
air there. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you're going to go
And
from
also,
super cold to super hot.
yeah, yeah, and also high performance.
Yeah,
Everyone
high
was laying
performance.
down crazy stuff there last year.
Yeah, true. Uh, Bells Beach.
Iconic, and the first thing that comes to mind is Rip Curl because it's like the home there, but I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. No, and I'm with you. Torquay's is where Rip Curl started back in 1969. And a note, talking about Bells Beach, you've also won there at Bells Beach. You took a Grom Search world title over there. at Bells. So put that on your list too. Okay, next up, Snapper Rocks.
My favorite, and hopefully more tens.
Yeah, there you go. And lastly, Margaret River.
The cut, and hopefully that won't be me.
Yeah, there you go. Can I do the hearts and the thing? Oh, I do that all at the same time. Sick. Let's introduce Jimmy. We haven't introduced Jimmy. Can we introduce
I can
Jimmy?
go get
Jimmy's
him.
there. There's Jimmy. That's okay. So everyone, that's Jimmy Brooks. How did Jimmy Brooks join the family, Erin?
Um, it's a funny story. I made another deal with my dad. I lost early in one of the ISA competitions, and I had to make like 12 heats to get all the way back to the main final. And he told me if I did, then he'd get me Jimmy. And I couldn't let anything stop me because I've always wanted a golden retriever. Yes, Jimmy.
That's great. I'm sure he's gonna be. That's your number one fan too. I'm sure he's gonna be rooting for you all year 2025. Jimmy's gonna
I
be
want to
watching.
get a jersey for him so
You
he
should.
can wear it.
You should. You should get a. We'll get you a jersey. We're gonna get a jersey. We're gonna get a number 17 jersey for Jimmy, and then we're
Oh,
gonna make sure
yes.
that Jimmy can tune in to all the comps on WorldSurfLeague.com. And even if you're traveling around, we'll have the app too to make sure Jimmy doesn't miss a heat. How's that?
Sounds perfect.